Welcome back. In this series of looking for Nevada State historical markers, we find ourselves starting in Esmeralda County and 183 miles away from marker number 100. So let's start our search looking for Nevada State historical markers numbers 101 through 105. Our first marker is going to be marker number 101, Millers. Millers. As a result of mining excitement at Tonopah in 1901 and subsequent construction of the Tonopah and Goldfield Railroad, Millers was founded in 1904 as a station and watering stop on that line. The name honored Charles R. Miller, a director of the railroad and former governor of Delaware. He was also vice president of the Tonopah Mining Company and was instrumental in having their 100 stamp cyanide mill built here in 1906. In 1907, the town boomed with the construction of the T&G Railroad's repair shops and other large mill. The population grew to 274 in 1910, the town then boasting a business district and a post office. By 1911, the railroad shops and a mill had been moved away, and Millers began to decline. It was abandoned in 1947 when the railroad went out of business. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 101. Let's head down to the Las Vegas area now. Once there, we will need to take I-15 south. We will then need to exit at exit 12 for Jean and Goodsprings. Then take our right onto State Route 161. For a little over 6 miles, we come to our next marker, marker number 102, Goodsprings. Goodsprings, Mining District 1856-1957. Ore deposits readily recognized in the faulted and folded limestone deposits of this district remained unworked until 1856, when the Mormons developed a single lead mine at Potosi, probably the oldest lode mine in Nevada. Named for cattleman Joseph Good, the Open Springs area was developed into the mining ranching community of Goodsprings by A.G. Campbell. With completion of the Los Angeles and Salt Lake Railroad in 1905 and the narrow-gauge Yellow Pine Railroad from Jean to Goodsprings in 1911, transportation costs of the oxidized zinc minerals were reduced. The peak year of operations was reached in 1916, and Goodsprings then had 800 residents. This district with the greatest variety of minerals in Nevada produced a total of $25 million, primarily in lead and zinc, with lesser amounts of gold, silver, copper, molybdenum, vanadium, nickel, cobalt, platinum, palladium, and uranium. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 102. Our next marker is going to be another missing/removed marker, unfortunately. According to the State Historical Preservation Office, it was originally located on the off-ramp of US 93 at exit 58 for Apex, Nellis Air Force Base, and State Route 604. It's kind of hard to tell why they removed it. Possibly it could have been heavily vandalized and taken down to save it, but my guess it was improperly placed, and now the state needs permission to relocate it closer to the actual site, some 21 miles away. So let's take a look at the next marker in this series. Marker number 103, Gypsum Cave. Gypsum Cave. Gypsum Cave was once thought to be one of the oldest Aboriginal sites in North America. The cave is 300 feet long and 120 feet wide and is filled with dried, dusty deposits in all 6 rooms. When excavated in 1930-1931, the cave yielded the skull, backbone, 9 to 12-inch claws, reddish-brown hair, and fibrous dung of the giant ground sloth, a vegetarian species common in the more moist environment known here about 7,500 to 9,500 years ago. Bones from extinct forms of the horse and camel were also found. Pieces of painted dart shafts, torches, stone points, yucca fiber string, and other artifacts were found mixed in with the sloth dung. When the dung was dated at 8500 BC by the radiocarbon method, it was believed the man-made tools were the same age. 2 radiocarbon dates on the artifacts themselves, however, indicate that the ground sloth and man were not contemporaneous inhabitants of the cave. Man probably made use of the cave beginning about 3000 BC, long after the ground sloths had abandoned it. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 103. Now, we need to travel south through Las Vegas again and get onto US 95 south. Once you pass Palm Gardens, you will turn left onto State Route 163. At 8.5 miles, we come to our next marker number 104, the Camel Cores. The Camel Corps. In 1855, Congress authorized $30,000 for camels as frontier military beasts of burden because of their adaptability to desert heat, drought, and food. Lieutenant Edward F. Beale surveyed the wagon route from Fort Defiance, New Mexico, to the Colorado River near the tip of Nevada. Testing the fitness of these camels, they crossed the Colorado River into Nevada north of Fort Mojave, October 18, 1857. The experiment was not practical, but 10 of Beale's camels hauled commercial freight from Sacramento to Nevada Territory. Others purchased in 1860 carried salt, ore, and supplies through central Nevada. Careless treatment, domestic stock incompatibility, and new transportation methods ended use of camels. Some were seen years later wandering in southwest deserts. Nevada State Historical Marker number 104. Let's head back up north about 558 miles to Interstate 80. Just east of Winnemucca, we will get off at exit 194, Golconda. Located in Golconda, on the shoulder of State Route 789, or Old Highway 40 East, we will find our next marker number 105, Golconda. Golconda, a one-time Utah Territory mining town and landmark on the California Immigrant Trail, was famous for its hot springs. The Hot Springs Hotel was a swanky resort with doctors on staff. In 1868, Golconda became an ore shipping station on the new Central Pacific Railroad. Renewed mining activity in 1897 resulted in the building of the narrow-gauge Golconda and Adelaide Railroad south to the Adelaide Mine. Golconda grew to 500 inhabitants by 1899, but the next year the mine and mill closed and railroad service ceased. Nevada State Historical Marker number 105.